Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Thanks for joining me. It's been a little bit, so I'm definitely feeling a little bit rusty, but it's good to see some people joining. Hello, Mike. Looks like it's me and you in the chat right now, but welcome. Hey, Janine. So it's it's been a little while. Last night I was actually on with the Mormon News Roundup. If you didn't see that, hey Corey Horror. So that was pretty fun. I was actually scheduled to go on with him a couple weeks ago, and when that death, funeral, and all that went down, I canceled. I just wasn't feeling it. So he let me come back on. It was really fun. So if you didn't see that, you could check out Mormon News Roundup. It was fun. Mike says he sent me a coffee video for homework. Oh, I'll have to see that. I don't think I've noticed that yet. So hope everybody's had a great day. Whoa, almost spilt my stuff. So I'm supposed to be sitting here editing a video. Hey, Mark, from a interview I did yesterday. It was really fun. So a lot of you guys know I have video gear for my business, and so I have been able to do some in-person interviews. And so yesterday I was able to do one, and I need to finish editing and get it put out. Hopefully I can do that. Finish it up tomorrow, but it was really good. Can't wait for you guys to see it. So I should be editing, but I had a few things on my mind. One specific thing, and I'll get to it at the end, and then a couple just quick little thoughts. Just welcoming everyone here in the chat. So it's cool that you guys are joining me. So I just called this catching up. Anytime you see people taking pictures with their drinks, it's pretty much a telltale sign that they are, that they've left a high demand religion, probably Mormonism. Who else takes pictures with their drinks? So that's me from a few nights ago. Probably have the same shirt on. That's embarrassing. But so a couple things. So I've been getting underwear ads on my Facebook page now like crazy. So we're going to have to cut down on the underwear talk. This is all I see anymore. So, that's fun. Might get me some mesh undies, who knows. But that's all I've been seeing here lately. So I guess I'm going to have to cut back on that. I guess it didn't help. It didn't help doing this episode. Yeah, so my wife is running the roads with her sister. They're at a Mexican restaurant, Pueblitos, watching me. I was trying to slide in and just kind of do my own thing here, and they're still keeping tabs on me. So, that's cool. Bring me home something to eat, honey. I'm starving. All right, let's keep going. All right, so my brother-in-law sent me this. You guys ain't going to believe this shit. So, do y'all know what this is? First person in the chat gets 100 points. Okay. While you're thinking what this is, I got to play you this video. Guys, I'm just going to say it. Religion is going crazy. So, all right, let me play you this little video. Hopefully it starts from the beginning. Furby, yeah, Randy Haas gets 100 points. Sorry, Mandy. Randy Haas beat you. Okay, let me share this little video. And this is a preacher talking about a Furby. You ain't gonna believe this stuff. All right, listen to this. All right, here we go. No, wait, that's not it. Where's it at? That's not that one. Okay, here we go.
waking her up. And it said, "Me want you." And then one time it was on the desk again and said, "Me want your body." Then she said, "No, I don't want this thing anymore," and gave it back to her boyfriend. Took it upstairs, and it ended up on my wife's desk. And she told me what happened. The Furby was sitting on her desk, and she took the batteries out of this Furby because the Furby started talking. She didn't like what it said. It said, "Me no like you." And she said, "Well, I don't like you either," and started to take the batteries out of it. So she took the batteries out of it, and it growled at her. And she said, "It growled." And I said, "You mean it just made a growling noise?" She said, "No, it growled." I said, "Let me see that thing." And I picked that Furby up, and I sat down in a chair. And I sat there, and I said, "In the name of Jesus of Nazareth," I said, "I know who you are. I know what you are." I said, "Reveal yourself now." And Furby opened up its eyes and said, "Me no like you." And I said, "Well, I don't like you either. You're out of here. In the name of Jesus, leave." She had put this Furby on her dresser. And one time at night, the Furby actually started speaking and waking her up. And it said, "Me want you." And then one time it was on the desk again and said, "Me want your body." Then she said, "No, I don't want this thing anymore," and gave it back to her boyfriend. Took it upstairs, and it ended up on my wife's desk. And she told me what happened. The Furby was sitting on her desk, and she took the batteries out of this Furby because the Furby started talking.
I think he started over. Okay. All right. How do I get rid of this? I mean, what is going on with religion? I mean, God, okay. So this guy, I don't know who he is. He's on TV. He's a preacher. He's telling us that this Furby started saying shit like, "Me want you." "Me want your body." What's up, Dave? Guys, look. I'm not a fan of religion anymore. I mean, we use these stories as like faith building stories. Now, did this really happen? I have no idea. I highly doubt it that this Furby started talking even after they took the batteries out, saying, "I want your body," and shit like that. I mean, what is going on with religion? It would be more it would be more believable if the Furby spoke in King James language. I mean, okay, so yeah. So, not to dog on this religion or this preacher. I mean, although, he looks like a place that I would love to attend. Diamond Dave says, "Oh yeah, Furbies." Oh wait, where'd it go? Furbies are definitely possessed. But okay, so, and I'm just thinking, we are no different. You guys remember the gnat story, right? Elder Gay? I wrote about this bull crap on my Facebook page. Elder Gay. Let me just read you this, okay? Because I was pretty proud of this. This is the way that my online presence kind of started. I wrote these short little things. Some of them were a little bit funny, Okay, but I called this one, "Have Miracles Ceased?" All right, and it was about Elder Gay and the gnat. Surely you guys know this. If you don't, you're in for a real treat. Let me take this comment down. Okay, so here's what I wrote. "Have miracles ceased? In times of grief and despair, I take great comfort in this talk given in 2020 amid all the death of loved ones caused by a global pandemic, that God in his infinite wisdom still performs miracles as evidenced in this talk. Elder Gay accounted to many impressionable young adults the true story of the time he got mad and killed a gnat, but then prayed for it and watched it come back to life. And it did again fly away. Now, I realize that the lifespan of a gnat is about 7 days, But this precious animal presumably was able to live out its final few days on earth in peace, thanks to Elder Gay and his humble prayer. You might say, why does it matter? Well, it mattered to that one gnat. It did give me pause, however, when I realized that our church is heavily invested in Johnson & Johnson, who makes gnat spray, among other evil sprays and pesticides. I also pondered how many bugs lost their lives to the windshield on the way to deliver that talk. If this story bugs you and leaves a buzzing in your ears, don't simply swat it away in unbelief. Speak up. Don't be silent like the G in gnat, and proclaim this marvelous truth that flies in the face of incredulity. However you say that, damn it. Let's see. I can perceive your thoughts, and you're thinking that maybe the gnat wasn't actually dead, but just knocked out from the sudden clasp of hands. Possibly. But who knows? All right, so that was a little something that I wrote. Hello, everyone in the chat. Peter, Lisa, lots of great folks back with us today. Yeah, you got to remember the gnat story. There's the gnat spray that our church is. So let me get this straight. Elder Gay swats a gnat, kills it, prays for it, it's resurrected, but yet our church is heavily invested in Johnson & Johnson, which produces none other than gnat spray. All right, so just to prove, in case you haven't heard this story, and if you're like, what is he talking about? Here's a quick little clip of the gnat story. You're going to love it.
Ago, as a college sophomore, I was studying for final exams in an apartment by myself. It was a warm day, and as I was reviewing my papers, a gnat started buzzing in front of my face. The persistence of that gnat began to really annoy me. Finally, I had enough. I raised my hands and slapped them together and killed the gnat. I cannot explain to this day what happened next. I looked down at the dead gnat in the palm of my hand and felt great compassion. I said to myself, that gnat did not need to die. It is only dead because of my frustration and impatience. I then knelt and prayed to God to forgive me and let that gnat live again. As I finished that prayer, that gnat flew off my hand.
Now, if you think that story is ridiculous, you're in good company, but listen to what Radio Free Mormon had to say about it, because
Oh, crap. You guys let me talk forever without telling me I was muted. Oh, shoot. Okay, well, what all did I say? That's the problem with not having like a co-host to tell me you're muted, which I did last night with D-Vase. I was like, dude, you're muted. Okay, sorry about that. So I was just saying that religion is bullshit. That's what I was trying to say. I have no use for it anymore. I do not need a middleman. I don't need the Furby stories. I don't need the gnat stories. I don't need any of this stuff. Yeah, everyone's like, is everyone having audio issues yet? Sorry, that was me. I was having audio issues. Bishop's new name is Silent G. Oh, shit. Hey, it's a good thing I didn't do the whole friggin' podcast muted. All right, let's move on. That's 16 minutes of nothingness. All right, so did you guys see this story? I think a lot of you have. I spent the last hour and a half or so listening to this podcast. I was not familiar with this. Are we praying to Furbies now? Diamond Dave. By the way, happy birthday, Diamond. Diamond Dave, I saw that. So this couple, I was not familiar with. I don't know if you guys in the chat or watching are, but they seem, this is the podcast, Latter Day Struggles podcast. And the episode that they posted today was 313, and this is on Apple Podcasts. I highly recommend this. I listened to it today, and that was actually what got me like, you know what, I'm going to go live. I had something else in mind that I wanted to share at the end, but I was like, this is significant. And this couple, I'm trying to think how to pronounce their last name. It's not Haymaker, but I think it's Hammaker. They have a podcast. They're faithful members, active faithful members, much like Dr. Julie Hanks, who are in the field or idea or in the space of helping people either in a faith transition or who are doubting or who are hurting. This woman, what's her name? Valerie. She's a trained professional, and so, right, Scott, healers are not welcome in the church. That was kind of the thought that kept coming to me. I was like, you know what? I'm going live. And even though this was like super unpolished, I was like, I want to talk about this for a minute. They talked about a lot of things in this particular episode, 313, and it was titled Not Willing to be Burned at the Stake Center. And what this was referring to is that they were ultimately called in for a disciplinary council, or whatever the hell they call it now. And why were they called in? Well, they walk through the whole thing in this episode, and I was quite, enjoying it. First of all, the bishop got to the point where he would not even interview them for like a temple recommend interview. So they had a son who was about to go on a mission. Now, I never got to the point whether he left or not. I have no idea. Maybe you guys know in the chat. But he was going on a mission. And actually, yeah, he did, because he sent home some messages where he was telling his friends in the MTC that his parents could not go with him to the temple because the bishop would not do a temple recommend interview. And they talk about how the bishop just kept saying, nope, the stake president put the ball in my court, and I don't think you guys are worthy. Let me take this down. So the bishop wouldn't do the interview. And finally they were like talking to him, and they were like, why can't we just at least do the interview? Let us answer the questions. It's not on your shoulders, And they finally were told, well, we don't like some of the stuff you say in your podcast. And they were like, well, like what, And they were like, well, for one thing, you were encouraging people, if they had a problem with tithing, to give to other places. And oh my gosh, I posted something on my Facebook page today. I think I might have it pulled up here. Let me see. I'm not going to play the whole thing if I have it pulled up. Let me see if I have it. Yeah. tithing makes you look better. If you haven't seen this, let me play just a few minutes of it. It's ridiculous. Oh, wait.
When attitudes
Stop.
or priorities
Stop. Hold on. That didn't share. One more time. What do I do? Share screen. Okay. Yeah. All right. Listen to some of this. I'm not going to play it all.
are fixed on the acquisition, use, or possession of property, we call that materialism.
We neither preach for hire nor divine for money. We follow the pattern of Paul and make the gospel of Christ without charge, lest we abuse or misuse the power the Lord has given us. Freely we have received and freely we give, for salvation is free. Pay an honest tithing.
Of course one is expected to be a full tithe payer.
One day, during those difficult times, I heard my parents discussing whether they should pay tithing or buy food for the children.
All right, look, I'm going to go ahead and pause it. The point is that this is 9 minutes. Whoever made this video, first of all, great job. 9 minutes. In just a second, it gets to like just clip after clip after clip saying, you'll be spared, you'll not be burned if you pay your tithing. One guy even says you're going to look better. He says you're going to look better if you pay your tithing. I just posted about this on my Facebook page today. Let me see what else he said. They said, do you want to look better? Do you want to make the best investment? Do you want to prosper? Do you want to not be burned? If this interests you, you can pay your tithing to the Mormon Church. So anyway, I'm off on a tangent. The point was that they had met with them and said, we didn't like what you said about tithing, because they had said, you know what, if you have a problem paying it to the church, pay it anywhere you want to pay it. So anyways, they wouldn't interview them. They finally told them that they didn't like some of the stuff they were saying on their podcast. And I mean, these people, they're active, they're faithful. Finally, the son goes in for his meeting, interview with the stake president, and he asks the son for his mission interview, what do you think about your parents' podcast? And the son gives the perfect answer. He's like, well, look, I don't listen to their podcast, but I know they're good people and they are truly trying to help people. And that was my takeaway. As I listened to a 2-hour podcast today, or hour and a half or something, of what I was showing there. Let me add it back. Shoot. Okay. Yeah. This right here. This Latter-day Struggles, not willing to be burned at the stake center. He said, I haven't listened to their podcast, but I know that they are good people trying to help, help other people. And that was the answer he gave. So look, basically what they met with an Area 70 to kind of plead their case. And ultimately, and I believe this is current, this weekend or today or whatever, that they were called in to the stake center for their membership, disciplinary council. And instead of going in, it's my understanding that they just removed their names because they knew what was coming. Okay, let me check the chat for a sec. Ted says he's on a mission. Okay. Yeah, definitely not a cult. Right. Yeah. Salvation is free, but tithing is compulsory. Yep. Let's see. Okay. So I would recommend checking that podcast out. They seem like great people. Valerie really struck me much like Julie Hanks, just the stuff she was saying. the way that she was kind of having this battle of, I'm a trained professional, yet I'm a member. How do I balance this? And that's what she was kind of describing. So I thought it was great. And I think it is a damned disgrace what the church is doing. This church will go down. This church will ultimately bury itself for its inability to just see people as, as the professionals that they are, as the honest people that they are. And because she wasn't willing to just say, obey the prophet at all costs, ultimately they were going to be excommunicated. We know how this goes. We've seen it over and over. You guys know that I'm a big fan of Nemo. And I'll just tell you, Nemo's stuff, I see him as sincere, but it is a little bit more edgy. These people come across much more, whatever you want to call it, orthodox or true believing or whatever you want to call it. And the fact that they were treated this way is a literal disgrace. Listen, somebody clip this part of this video right now. Send it to my fucking stake president and tell him to pull me in for a disciplinary council. I want to talk to them. I'm still a member and I am speaking out. This is bullshit. Clip that shit and send it to him. All right. What's next? Okay. You guys, did you see this eclipse the other night? Let me just say, first of all, the solar eclipse that we had a few years ago, whenever it was, I was blown away. Like I guess I would probably have, I probably described it as like a spiritual experience. Like it was awesome. If you have an opportunity to witness a total solar eclipse, I would recommend doing it. Some of my friends were like, well, yeah, we didn't have totality, but we had 90. I was like, if you didn't have totality, then you missed 100% of totality. They'll be like, oh no, we saw 95%. It's like, no. You missed 100% of totality if you didn't go. And it came through like right in our area, and I did a video about it. I could probably put it in the comments, but it was awesome. I thoroughly loved it. Now, a couple nights ago, we had I guess it's a lunar eclipse. It was really cool. And so I saw a little bit of chatter about the whole signs of the times and the moon turning to blood and all this stuff. And I wanted to show you something that I used to love to point out as a true believing member. Some of you might be familiar with this, but some of you may not be. And I think this is interesting. So thanks, Mark. Appreciate that. Janine says, tell me again what it's the so-called Mormon Church, right? SCMC. I think it's so-called Mormon Church. Mike says they'll attach your fruit drinks. Hey, Mike, you don't know what's in that drink. It might have been friggin' fruit punch. You don't know what's in that thing. The SCMC will spy away. Pull me in for a disciplinary council. I'm waiting. Okay, so back to the eclipse. So this is so LDS Living. I've pulled a lot of stuff from them. I understand that they're not officially a Mormon or a church-owned site, but they have stuff like this, like 7 things that will happen before the world ends, and And one of them is like, the sun must be darkened and the moon turned to blood. And so every time we have something like what happened a few nights ago, what's my state president's name? Oh, it just changed. Tobler. That's his name. His name's Tobler. So every time we have an event like this, then I saw some chatter about, oh, it's a sign of the times, second coming and all this. And so I just wanted to point out, and I used to do this in church a lot, and it ruffled some feathers. My great-great-great-grandpa, he's not, you guys know, second cousin's 3 times removed. So President Hinckley, in the conference immediately following 9/11. That's how you can remember it. That's how I've always remembered it. And I would pull it up anytime we started talking about signs of the times at church. I was like, oh, here we go. It's my chance. It's my opportunity to shine and show how smart I am. In the conference following 9/11, in the very first talk labeled Living in the Fullness of Times, our prophet, the mouthpiece of the Lord, said, and I quote from memory, the prophecy of Joel has been fulfilled wherein he declared this. Okay, so this is from his talk. Okay, I misspoke. The vision of Joel, not the prophecy. The vision of Joel has been fulfilled wherein he declared, and then it goes on to talk about prophesying, dream dreams, and your young men will see visions. But he keeps reading, and he reads the part that says, the sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood. So we have the prophet, oh my gosh, Ted's posting the state president's information. I don't give a shit. Okay, we have the prophet saying that the vision of Joel has been fulfilled. There you go. There you have it. We have the prophet saying that that prophecy before the second coming has already been fulfilled. Now, was it in 9/11? I have no idea. But I always love to point out, because everyone would be like, oh, it's the second coming signs. What are they? And, and not long into the conversation, they would say, oh, yeah, well, the moon has to turn to blood. And I'd say, nope, that's already happened. They'd say, well, what do you mean? I say, well, we have a prophet, don't we? What is the prophet's job? The prophet's job is to tell us, the things to prophesy, to tell us, to reveal things. Well, he revealed in that talk that the prophecy or the vision of Joel has been fulfilled, wherein he declared blah, 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 and the moon would be turned to blood. So that one has been ticked off. So every time we have one of these eclipses, I don't want to see all this stuff like, oh, maybe this is the sign of the times. Nope, that's already happened. Okay. So all of this has basically been just comments, but this is actually what I wanted to talk about. Now, I'm probably going to clip this section and I will post it as a response to Michelle Stone. Now, I'll name this section, Polygamy Isn't That Bad. Now, I know a lot of you guys, Mark says, Bishop Nathan will be excommunicated in 3, 2, 1. I don't know. Maybe they will, but I haven't heard anything yet from them. Okay, polygamy isn't that bad. You guys are probably like, what's he talking about here? Okay, now, I have had some conversations with Michelle. Let me go ahead and get this off, let me go ahead and state this to begin with. Many people have said she's very sweet, she's very knowledgeable, and I have a problem with that. I don't think she's very sweet and knowledgeable. I think she's extremely sweet and knowledgeable. You know, I was very impressed with her. And so if you're wanting me to dog her and say she's crazy, I'm not going to do that. But I do have some problems with some of the things she said. And so this portion of this episode is a response to some of the things that her and I have discussed. And I want to go over that with you. So, polygamy isn't that bad. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, Michelle Stone posted this on her Facebook page, and I'm a friend of hers. She said, "This is what God has to say about polygamy." I believe these words in the Book of Mormon. And then she quoted from Jacob 2. I'm not going to read it. You guys probably are familiar with it, but right there it is. Well, I commented on that page, that post of hers, and by the way, it had 484 comments at this time and 14 shares. So, this friend of mine has quite a bit of a foothold. Now, I don't believe she has the subs on her channel that it shows, and I have reasons for that, which I won't go in now, but she does have quite a following. Well, I said, why do you think that this is what the Lord has to say about polygamy? And she responded, well, I still believe the Book of Mormon has divine origin. I think it has a lot to teach us about the nature of truth and God. This is from Jacob's anti-polygamy and anti-pride sermon. I think it's worth paying attention to. Fair enough. That's her perspective. Right, Mike. Michelle's a good person. Yeah, I can't say that, enough that I, very, very impressed with her. Okay, so then, apart from this, I posted this on my Facebook page. I can't even remember if I don't even know if I said anything. I think I might have just posted this. Of course, we know that this is from section 132 or whatever, the polygamy, section. And I command mine handmaid, Emma Smith, to abide and cleave unto my servant Joseph, and to none else. But if she will not abide this commandment, she shall be destroyed, saith the Lord. For I am the Lord thy God, and I will destroy her if she abide not in my law. Okay, I posted that, and I had, quite a few comments on that. Well, Michelle commented, and she says, yeah, 132 sucks. Definitely not God. And on my page, even 11 people there, liked her comment. So this is the comment I want to respond to. And so Michelle basically says, this is obviously, let me take this down. This is obviously not God, threatening and damning Emma. Okay, fair enough. But yet she uses the Book of Mormon as as her backing. So the point that I want to bring out, so you say, Michelle, that, oh yeah, that's definitely not God. That's not the God that I know, that would threaten, Emma that way. Definitely not. No, there's no way that's God. Well, is this God? This comes from the Book of Mormon. And it says, and it came to pass that the Spirit said unto me again, we know this is Nephi, slay him, for the Lord hath delivered him into thy hands. Behold, the Lord slayeth the wicked to bring forth his righteous purposes. It is better that one man should perish than that a nation should dwindle and perish in unbelief. So is that God? she's so quick to say, oh, yep, definitely not God on the polygamy thing on section 132. But yet the Book of Mormon, which she also used to back her, her statement, has scriptures just like this saying one person can perish rather than a whole nation, dwindle in unbelief. God could have took care of that in any way he wanted. I mean, the guy was drunk and passed out. Take what you want or whatever. You don't have to cut his head off. Okay, so that was the first thing I wanted to point out, that how can you say definitely not God, shown in that scripture, but then you see this scripture in the Book of Mormon, and it's basically the same thing. And the reason why I said polygamy isn't that bad, because in polygamy, at least you are breathing, you are alive, versus in this situation, he's got his head cut off, bleeding out from his friggin' neck, and this is God? So one is definitely not God, but this is God. And maybe a better explanation would come from 3 Nephi 9 and 10. Now, I did a whole little episode on this that I called a candlelight vigil for the people that God killed. Just look for one moment. I'll say Michelle, because I intend to send this portion as a response. Let's look for one moment at all of the innocent people God killed. Well, he killed the people of Zarahemla with fire. The people of Moroni, he sunk in the depths of the sea. The people of Moroni, he covered with earth. The people of Gilgal, he sunk. The people of Onihah and the inhabitants thereof, he did something to. The people of Mokum and Jerusalem, and the inhabitants thereof, he caused what? Water to come up instead thereof. The city of Gideandi and Gideamna and the city of Jacob and Gimno have I caused to be sunk. This is the God that you just said, yep, that's definitely not God. But I'm not done, because I haven't even got to this great city of Jacobugath, my personal favorite. Verse 9, and behold, the great city of Jacobugath, which was inhabited by the people of King Jacob. Of course, the people of Jacobugath were the people of Jacob. Did I cause to be burned? Let's think. Who lived in the great city of Jacobugath? There was women, there was children, there was old people, there was horses, there was all kinds of people living in Jacobugath that were burned by God. And he says, I did it. He says in verse 10, I caused to be burned. He took the credit. He took the blame. He says, this one's on me. And so we're going to pick out one little verse of section 132, and we're going to say, yep, that's definitely not God. And then we're going to use another scripture of the Book of Mormon that supports this idea. Well, this is what God thinks about polygamy. But then we're going to turn to other parts of the same book where God is literally killing, burning, drowning, burying with mountains, all kinds of innocent people. And you're going to tell me that's definitely not God? I don't buy it. And so Michelle went on to say in her, this was from her podcast where she was responding to a Mormon Stories episode, I think, or either that or this was during her interview with John. She says, yep, I have a very narrow field of focus, but I have gone very deep into it, and I don't doubt that. But my problem is when we just pick one topic and try to go super deep into it, we're not getting the full picture. And the full picture is that the God from the Book of Mormon is a complete and total, absolute maniac. And so using a scripture from Jacob to support your point of view, while at the same time not taking into account, Laban, not taking into account my favorite people of Jacob Boogeth, that doesn't work. You can't have a narrow perspective on these issues and go super deep and expect it to have any weight with me. It doesn't. It has no weight. You can't use the Book of Mormon to say that that is definitely not God. That's definitely not God. You can't say, oh, yep, 132 sucks, definitely not God. I mean, yeah, you can say that, but how are you going to turn around and then say that all of this other stuff is God? And then use a scripture from it. Ted, I'm a huge fan of Jacob Boogeth. I think they got the raw end of the deal. It was the great city. It was from the people of Jacob. And they got friggin' burned. Ted says his problem. Yeah, you guys, I've been sitting here talking about Jacob Boogeth, and you guys have been carrying on this fantastic conversation. But that is my point. That I admit that there is a lot of original sources that got changed, things that don't add up. I admit that, okay? And that's why the polygamy denier movement, I think, is growing so much. For me, and I addressed this already in the episode that I called I Am a Denier, and the purpose of that was to talk about this issue of polygamy. The point for me is that the church tells me that polygamy is of God. Do I accept that or not? No, I do not. I'm a denier. And I deny that the Book of Mormon is of divine origin. And I deny that Joseph Smith was telling the truth to even Emma or to the other people. I deny that his seer stone rock was any different than mine. Actually, I don't deny. I'm saying it was the same as mine. You drop this into a hat, it does nothing. It sits there like a rock. That's what rocks do. That's my claim. I deny that words appeared. I deny that he was a truthful person. I deny that the Book of Mormon is a historical record whatsoever. It is my belief that he borrowed stories from his dad, from other books, such as The Late War and others, and that he was a dang good storyteller, even though he put a lot of mistakes in there, which we now call anachronisms. But for the most part, pretty good storyteller, great memory. I deny that it's of divine origin. And so y'all can clip that and send it to my stake president too. So, Michelle, that is my response to you, who I think is a great person, very sincere, very knowledgeable. Ultimately, I guess what I'm saying is it doesn't really matter to me. It doesn't matter. Joseph proved himself a liar, lying about visions, lying about whether he saw one personage or two, lying about Peter, James, and John appearing, backdating it into the records. I mean, It's a complete and total shit show. And so whether or not, he practiced polygamy, I think he did. But honestly, I don't really care. I'm not interested in digging in to the original sources. I'm not interested in making sure the friggin' bridge out here is safe and secure before I drive over it. If I get to the point that I do not trust the bridge, I'll go another way. And that's what I've done with the church. The church tells me Joseph did it. If I'm okay with that, fine. If I'm not, I'll go another direction. That's what I've done. I'm in another direction. Oh, but there's chiasmus. Right, Ted. There's chiasmus in freaking Dr. Seuss, too. Okay. Mike says, oh, just get Jacob to tattle on you. Yeah, so speaking of Jacob, I don't have any slides on that, but I think most of us know that he went on with, what was his name? Alex O'Connor. I listened to that whole thing. It was like 2 hours or something. I thought he did an okay job at trying to make Mormonism not seem batshit crazy. Okay. I do not think he did a great job at being honest, at having integrity. You cannot say that tithing is not, what did Alex ask? I think he asked, is it required? And Jacob's like, oh, no, you can attend and not pay tithing. We know you can attend, but, are you going to obey or not? So there was tons of things just like that. That was like, that's not actually honest. All right, guys, I'm running out of steam. I'm waiting on my wife to get home with some friggin' Mexican food. I don't know if anyone has anything to say or to talk about. I would let anyone in the studio for a second if you want to bring something up. Otherwise, I probably should get back to editing. Let me see. The look on Alex's face at some. Peter's saying that. What is Peter saying? That I think Peter might be saying that Alex was kind of seeing through Jacob's bullshit. Yeah, it's just as crazy as Christianity. Yeah, that Jacob kind of said that over and over. And basically if I had to put it into one sentence, he was basically saying, if you're a Christian, you believe crazy stuff. Therefore, you have no right to criticize our crazy stuff. That's my way of condensing that whole interview. And I sort of wrote about the same thing on my Facebook page. I called it different flavors of something, of craziness, basically. And I kind of was pointing out how every religion, just like the dude I showed at the first of this thing, talking about Furbies talking and all kinds of bullshit. I mean, every religion is crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, so I have no use for that anymore. Ted liked my summary. Yeah, talking donkeys. It's one of my favorite. I bring it up all the time. It's like, I don't believe in talking donkeys. I don't believe in living in whales' bellies. I don't believe in getting 2 of every animal on boats. I don't believe in a lot of stuff that I used to believe in. And I'm so glad that I'm free from that. That's what I was talking about with this interview that I had yesterday that I'm very excited to edit and post, that it's just so freeing just to be done with these things that we're constantly told we're supposed to believe. And we're trying to fit a friggin' round peg in a square hole or whatever, you know, and to be free of that is, it's undescribable, the peace that comes from that. Now, to go along with that, there are a lot of things, including heaven or what happens after life and all of this, that ultimately I'll just kind of say, I don't know. And it's amazing the peace and comfort that can come from I don't know. Because when you're on the other side of things, you think that it's nothing but, you know, that it's a miserable place to be if you didn't have the church. I remember thinking this, how miserable, you know, that it must be at like a funeral or something. I am amazed to say that it is my experience that I have more, I guess, more comfort now than I've ever had, because I now know that God does not care about stupid, ridiculous handshakes and new names and weird shit that you have to memorize. And all kinds of stuff that we're told is important. It's not. Those things do not matter. And so, you know, I am perfectly okay with saying, I don't know on a lot of things. And it brings me comfort. If God does exist, then I believe that he basically said, you guys knock yourself out. Be whatever religion you want to be no religion. I do not care. If he doesn't exist, fine, then nothing matters. My personal feeling is that something is out there. Something is there, and it is my opinion that God has said, knock yourselves out. I'm not getting involved. I'm not going to pick and choose who to heal. I'm not going, I've created these parameters. Y'all have at it. You know, there's going to be childhood death and cancer. There's going to be, you know, accidents, all kinds of things. You know, I'm fine with that. I'm not fine with that, but I don't believe God picks and chooses who to heal, who to save, whose keys to help find. All of that bullshit. I don't believe he sends angels to tell people to do polygamy. I don't believe he makes Furbies talk. I don't believe he resurrects gnats for elder gay. I don't believe any of that. All right, you guys have been with me for an hour. I put the link in here. Sounds like nobody has much to say, which is perfectly fine. So I think I'm going to say thanks for joining me. 52 people on here right now, and I've basically just been spouting at the mouth. But, you know, I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. I love, you know, the support and the friendship that we have. And so I'll say thanks for joining me. Ted says hit the like button. I'll take us out with my my intro video and say see you soon. Hopefully we'll have that premiere hopefully tomorrow. If not, for sure the next day. Thanks a lot, guys. Good night.